Good afternoon, and welcome to Dustin Feyder's read-along with the Storyteller Exodus. I'll be beginning today on page 16. Chapter 2, The Late Autumn's Ride. The sky is a pale orange, the trees a bright red. The traveler rides today with only his team of horses. Any other day, his partner would be alongside him, but not today. There's only his sword and his bow. Today is not like other days. Today he rides with a treasure of untold worth hidden within his brown leather sack. The traveler lies to himself. He tries to claim it's just another contract. But it's not. Today no jewels needed to change hands, as it was a most trusted friend that had pled for this last pilgrimage. He has paid his debt with blood. Any other... I'm getting over a sinus infection. Any other man he would have told it's too late in the season to fly. Besides, such work is meant for a much younger generation. The traveler understands well that his daughter is only 14 years in age, and she could not handle such a long trip alone. Deep into the woods he must trot, away from the better weathered roads. His chariot is rich, and his team is strong. The air is brisk, and he must tighten his shroud, hiding deep within it to cradle his almost frosted armor, and more importantly, his bones. He understands well that others want desperately what he has. Seemingly just behind his sight, the trees howl angrily. The sounds of hooves thunder ahead, even louder than that of his own horses. Wood cracks and snaps as shadows of dusk overlay the bright of dawn. A second rider comes into sight, charging this monster clearly to the traveler. This one is a female form, but nearly invisible under the gowns of the desert men it wears. Its horse is blacker than even the darkest of his. Its mane and hooves flicker like an oily black flame. The rider seems to know what it wants and where it is. It rushes the traveler's wagon and cuts off to one side, its clawed furry hand stretched out to try to grab the load sack in passing. The traveler wraps the rings around his arm and takes his bow, loading not one arrow but 3. He fires a spray of arrows at the would-be thief, and it seems to melt into darkness. The traveler might be relieved. The traveler might be relieved, but he has seen death, and nothing of this world dies like that. Not the highest archmagus, or the most pious monk. What devilry, and what a sad day to fly alone. I must ride hard and ride long, the monster will be back. But if my team cannot run it... To the left in the trees, the nightmare neighs. The rider is back already, a hefty scythe in hand, with chain flickering off its back. The rider It's like 120 degrees in my apartment, just for argument's sake. The rider bridges the gap and wields its scythe with murder clearly its intent. The traveler understands this well, and is ready to fight back. He jerks off to one side, swinging his carriage. Shocked, the rider falls back. The traveler laughs at the petty attempt to frighten him. He has seen 1,000 pilgrimages, and matched swords with at least twice as many monsters. She won't be back, he thinks. But the traveler is wrong. It appears again in a gray mist ahead, alongside his horses. He can't use his bow again. He might hit his team. He goes for his sword instead. and takes the leather sack as well. The rider pulls up her scythe and swings it at the horses. The traveler leaps alongside the horses' backs and hooks his sword beneath the scythe, pushing against it. The rider is off balance. The scythe is clunky to swing, and from horseback any good rider would know that. The traveler questions his needs and answers. The traveler has questions, he needs answers, and so won't let the rider fall. He grabs her around the collar and unmasks the beast. Much to his discontent, he sees a dog-faced witch, as young as he is old, as delicate as he is strong, with eyes as green as pine, as lovely as he is scarred beneath his hood and mask. The traveler has made a critical mistake. He hesitates to act, and in his line of work, a second's hesitation costs a pint of blood. The rider proves this, seemingly conjuring a hand axe to bury deep in his arm. The traveler grunts and staggers away, falling atop his favored mare, at the lead of his team, ripping away much of the rider's clothing as he falls. The rider turns tail to regroup herself. He spots 3 foxtails flickering beneath her robe. A grisly revelation befalls the traveler. With only one arm, he can't fight her when she returns, and his team can't outrun her. She is Kitsune, a bounty hunter for the heavens. The traveler's partner has spoken once of having seen them. What does it want, he thinks aloud. It doesn't matter, it's in the way. I'll cut my team free and run with just my mare. The pilgrim must find his own path. I will choose one this monster dare not follow. And so he does. With a swing of his sword, he cuts the rings that hold his horses together and ushers on his lead mare, charging with all the might they can muster, jumping rocks and trampling bushes and small trees in their way. The forest still howls in anger. The rider must not be far behind. The traveler lowers his head and kicks his mount's sides, calling for speed. A clearing ahead. Definitely they could lose their hunter there. His horse is the fastest around, and with the open fields, she'll never keep up. Next he spots they're coming into a canyon. I can leap the bluffs. The Kitsune will have to go around. As he does, something bites him in the back. A glance, and he spots the Kitsune stuck on the other side. He was right. Half a day before a monastery comes into sight. Half a day passes, before a monastery comes into sight. Weakly, the traveler kicks at the door, then dismounts his steed. A young monk comes to call. The pilgrim. I've seen you before. Many blessings, honored guest. Save your blessings, you'll need them, Turk. I come with the most urgent of messages. Belmont, son of Belmont, is dead, and his birthright must be delivered to his children. Their salvation and yours depend on it. The traveler drops the sack at his feet, as well as a smaller one containing jewels not easily counted by the monk. Bring wine and courage. You'll need both. Take my horse. Make it over the mountains and through the marsh, but do so with all haste, for the devil herself comes from just over that ridge. The monk looks in the sack and sees only a chain and a moldy book. 2 children, the whip for the boy, the book for the girl. Now go. The devil is coming, and I have not the magic nor the strength to stop her. The monk follows orders well. The traveler walks only a handful of paces away and draws his sword. The monk stares in admiration of his intent. Blood streams down his arm of the traveler as the axe is lodged deep within it. Huh? Hang on. The monk stares in admiration of his intent. Blood streams down one arm of the traveler, and an axe is lodged deep within his back. But still he stands awaiting a hero's death. The traveler watches with sinister glee as the kitsune charges him, weapon overhead. A smirk reaches his lips as the painfully transparent nature of good and evil dawns on him. Evil feeds off the blood and pain of the world, and good must carry the scars in the name of peace and righteousness. So it is done. May the pilgrim find peace in another life. Chapter 3 begins on page 21.